My favorite Gold Paladin deck has made a comeback. Beast Tamer's doing a lot of trickery with bunnies, and the Great Time Dragon has returned. So let's begin. So of course we go in order, starting off with the Liberators. Here's the Heal Guardians plus reprints. Really think Percival should have been a reprint. And then we go to Fast Chase Liberator Josephus, grade 1, 8k power and skills. Auto when rolled upon, look at the top card of your deck, and if it's a unit card, call it a rearguard. Free pluses are always nice. Second skill, auto, when placed on rearguard from deck, not a problem. Cost, Soul Blast 1, countercharge 1. Then you can cost Soul Blast 1 to draw a card. So basically, it's another version of Din Drain, except that you can use both skills. At the same time, this one is restricted to calling from deck, but it's not really a problem for Gold Paladin in general, but it would have been better if it says by card ability. But one thing that Din Drain has advantage over Josephus is that you get the option to either countercharge or draw, while this card forces you to do the countercharge first before you can do a Soul Blast for a draw. Meaning in general, if you want to get the full benefit of Josephus, you must Soul Blast 2 for the countercharge and draw. If you do Din Drain, you could just do one Soul Blast and either do a countercharge with some power or do a draw. Because in some cases, you don't need a countercharge. But either way, it's personal preferences. This one does have an 8k base and does have a Vanguard skill, so there is more advantage playing this, and also it's generic. Next, Liberator of Royalty Falon, grade 2, 9k power and skills. Count rearguard during turn. If a rearguard was placed from deck this turn, this card gets plus 5k power. It would have been much better if this actually stacks, because its second skill, Auto Vanguard Rearguard. When this card attack hits the Vanguard, look at the top card of deck. If it's a unit card, you can call it. So it's an attack hit pressure card that can give you additional attack if your opponent decides not to guard it. It's not bad, especially when it can be a 14k base, but like I said earlier, I think the first skill should have probably stacked to give it more pressure. And don't worry if your call was a trigger, because you do have Excel markers that can make up for that. And now to the dragon form of Percival, Bluish Flame Liberator, Prominence Core, grade 3, 12k power, excel, and skills. Act Vanguard once per turn, cost counterblast 1, retire rearguard. Well, I guess you could play Vortimer. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck, choose 2 from among them and call it to rearguard. Put the rest at the bottom of the deck in any order. But if Percival is in your soul, choose 4 instead. Yeah, a sacrifice of 1 rearguard to fill up essentially a good portion of your field. That's quite insane. Now, most of the time, you won't get the 4 calls in the first grade 3 ride because 1, you won't have Percival to soul yet in many cases. And it's not hard to put Percival to soul because, well, you could call the Percival will call the Aglovel, and Aglovel can put the Percival to soul, so you don't even need to ride it. And the other thing is that this is an act, and Aglovel can put 1 to soul when you attack with, so that will have to be during battle. But in that, it's not too bad. Now imagine being able to superior call Percival before hitting grade 3 and also having Aglovel in hand. That could be quite nasty, especially getting that 4 calls right off the bat. But anyway, it also correlates well with the second skill, Auto Vanguard. When your rearguard is placed, into the end of the turn, this and that unit gets plus 3k power. If that unit happens to be Aglovel while your opponent's Vanguard is at least at grade 3, the original crit of this unit becomes 2. Original crit of 2 makes sense for this because you can spam call Aglovel and this will get a bunch of crits with it, so that makes sense. But this skill is very nice to power up all those cards that you called. It doesn't even have to be by card ability, making most of your grade 2s at least 12k attackers, grade 3s 15k attackers, and if it's grade 1s for some reason, 11k boosters. So yeah, this skill can make a lot of numbers. And for each one you call to, this card also gets the extra 3k buff, especially with the first skill already calling 4, which is already a 12k buff. Yeah, that's a lot of power, and I love it a lot. And definitely better than the original, because the original is restricted to Persona calling, because Persona Flame Blue linkage. So yeah, I'm definitely building this deck, my favorite Gold Paladin deck in its full glory. And now to the new Beast Tamers, Heal Guardian plus reprint. And then we go to Amusing Bunny, grade 1, 8k power and skills. Auto Vanguard, one place, look at top 7 cards of your deck, choose 1 Beast Tamer from among them and add it to your hand. And then if you added a card, choose a card from your hand and put it as soul. So it's a consistency search on Vanguard and also helps you set up your soul. Very nice. Especially when we have a good number of Beast Tamers. But anyway, second skill. Auto Rearguard. At the end of the battle that this unit attacked or boosted, choose a Rearguard and put it to Soul. Soul setup is always very nice, especially when it's one of those key pieces that wants to be at Soul. So, pretty good. And then we go to Beast Tamer Assistant Chlorina. Grade 2, 9 power and skills. Auto Vanguard. When this card attacks, cost. Put a card from your hand to Soul, choose a grade 2 or less card from Soul and call it to Rearguard. And luckily it didn't say open Rearguard, meaning that you can get a 4th attack during your grade 2 turn. But it does cost you a card from hand, so that can hinder you a little bit. But anyway, second skill, Count Vanguard. If you have 3 or more grade 1 cards with bunny in their names in your Soul, this card gets drive +1. So this could also twin drive early game. Now both skills are Vanguard only, but this will actually correlate with the new grade 3. Because we got Bunny Beast Tamer Tilaipse. Grade 3, 12k power, Excel, and it's skillless. Act Vanguard once per turn, cost counter +1. Put 2 cards from your hand to your Soul, that's a little heavy. Choose up to 2 grade 2 or less cards from your Soul and call them to Rearguard. Then choose one of your front row Rearguards with Beast Tamer, its card name, that is different from this unit. That unit's circle becomes a Vanguard until the end of the turn. And that's why I said the last grade 2 with Vanguard only skills is not much of a problem, because it correlates with this. It becomes a Vanguard and then it can activate all its Vanguard shenanigans, especially when that one gives you multi-attack. But it's also very nice that it says any Beast Tamer, meaning that you can also choose Golden Beast Tamer. So essentially you're replacing 2 cards from hand to get 2 calls, which could also trigger from Soul abilities, and then getting a Rearguard to become the Vanguard to give you more drive checks and essentially more skills. That's definitely pretty nice. But anyway, second skill, Count Vanguard. During turn, all your front row units get plus 1k power for each grade 1 units with bunny in their card names in your Soul. Very nice, it can help fix some numbers, especially because we're talking about Pale Moon here where we're getting multi-attack. But what really matters is the first skill, giving you 2 Vanguards, which enables a lot of combos. So overall, very nice addition to Beast Tamers. And now to Chronoscommand, Heal Guardian plus reprints. And then we go to Steam Scar GG, grade 1, 8 power and skillless. Auto, when discarded from hand during your turn, call this to Rearguard. So basically like Chrono Tooth, except that you don't need to call it at rest. Even better! Second skill, Auto Rearguard. When your grade 3 or greater Vanguard attacks, cost Soul +1, retire this unit, draw a card, choose one of your Vanguards, it gets +5 power until the end of the turn. Alright, this is really good for any Gear Chronicle deck in general. And that includes premium. First off, the discard call, not an issue. Chrono Fang Tiger can definitely use this. Chrono Jet has Smoke here that can use this as a grade 3. And then as for the second skill, what's nice is that you can boost with this first before attacking with your grade 3. Or in Chrono's Jet case, you can boost Chrono Dragon next stage first, in which you can use next stage to rewrite the Chrono Jet, and then Chrono Jet attacks, and then you can use this already boosted skill to let you draw a card. Or you could discard this with Chrono Dragon next stage and then just Superior Call it in mid-battle with some force markers on it, giving you another attack. It could also help you refund the draw from Chrono Fang Tiger. So yeah, a lot of things you can do with this card. So yeah, overall this is a very good addition to every Gear Chronicle deck. And then we go to Steam Knight Caliban. Grade 2, 10 power and skills. Auto Rearguard. At the end of the battle that this card attacked, cost counter +1. Buying this unit, choose a Rearguard and put it at the bottom of the deck. If it was a grade 2 or greater, choose a normal unit with 1 grade less than the Rewind unit from your drop zone and put it to your hand. But if it was a grade 1 or less, you draw a card and countercharge 1. So not only you remove a Rearguard, you can either recycle or draw, with a bonus countercharge if you did do the draw. Yeah, no reason not to run this, especially when it clears the field, enabling to let you call another card to that open Rearguard space. Yeah. And now for the return for one of the first Stride units of Gear Chronicle, Interdimensional Dragon Chronoscommand Dragon. It's a grade 4 with 15k power, no gift marker of course for pseudo stride purposes, and skillless. Auto, when placed on Vanguard, costs counter +1, Soul +1, discard a card from your hand, return all your Rearguards to the bottom of the deck, and then look at the top 5 cards of your deck and choose any number of them and call it to Rearguard. Damn, this is already really good against control decks, especially when it comes to Gear Chronicle's case where you can bind a bunch of stuff and remove a bunch of your cards, and this card just kind of refunds all 5 cards at once. This is already a must play, but it also has a second skill where Auto Vanguard, when an attack hits a Vanguard, your opponent puts all the rear guards to the bottom of the deck. So it also enables attack hit pressure. That can rewind your opponent's field, mind you. So yeah, no matter what, your opponent will usually guard the attack. Now that rewind can still backfire because superior calling from deck happens really often. But you mainly use this for the first skill because refunding your whole field for one discard? That's insane. Yes, you do have to rewind all your rear guards as well for this, but that's not going to be an issue considering that Gear Chronicle can control their own field as it is, and it also enables more time leap like calls. Although like most Gear Chronicle grade 4s, most of them are tech options, so run this in your own leisure. I'm just surprised that Chronoscommand took a while to make, considering that they teased an if. So that's it for these reveals. What do you guys think about Prominence Core, Bunny Beast Tamer, and Chronoscommand? Prominence Core, building it, no questions asked. Even though I was trying to get away from free, but I really like the deck no matter what. Bunny Beast Tamers, very interesting concept, very nice expansion to the archetype, especially with the double Vanguards. And Chronoscommand, I'm just glad to see them again, especially after that tease from If that never happened in clan selection. But in that, that's it for this, and I am so excited to build Prominence Core.